येस. आजचा सीबीएसई इन न्यू इरा टुवर्ड्स NEP ह्या सेशन मध्ये ह्या सत्राच्या सेकंड सेशन मध्ये मी दया कुलकर्णी सुपर माइंड तुमचं स्वागत करते. आज आपल्याला इथे सायन्स हा विषय आपण आपल्या ह्या वेबिनार मध्ये घेणार आहोत आणि त्याच्यासाठी आपल्या स्पीकर आहेत अमिता वेल्हाळ. अमिता वेल्हाळ मॅडमचंही मी इथे स्वागत करते. मॅडम मागच्या सेशन मध्ये मला बरेच मेसेज आलेले आहेत की मागचं सेशन खूप छान झालं, इंग्लिशचं होतं, इन्फॉर्मेटिव्ह होतं. कारण आता NEP इंट्रोड्यूस करायला घेतल्या सीबीएसईने सुरू केलेलं आहे. नेक्स्ट इयर म्हणजे 23-24 म्हणजे हे अकॅडमिक इयर त्या अर्थाने सुरू झालंय. सो 23-24 ला NEP इम्प्लिमेंट केलंय 9th and 10th साठी. सो सगळ्या स्टुडंट आणि पेरेंटना खूप बिग क्वेश्चन आहे असा की NEP इंट्रोड्यूस केले म्हणजे काय केलंय. There is going to be syllabus change, means reduce the syllabus, paper pattern is drastically changed. So how to prepare themselves and how to prepare the planning. So ह्याच्यासाठी आपण हे वेबिनार ठेवलेलं आहे. सो आजच्या ह्या सेशन मध्ये आपल्याला सायन्स ह्या सब्जेक्टसाठी आपल्याला गायडन्स करणार आहेत अमिता वेल्हाळ मॅडम. अमिता वेल्हाळ मॅडम सीबीएसई स्कूल मध्ये HOD म्हणून आहेत, एका वेल नोन सीबीएसई स्कूलमध्ये HOD म्हणून आहेत. बोर्डाच्या त्या एक्झामिनर आणि मॉडरेटर म्हणून पण गेली अनेक वर्ष त्या काम बघतायत. सो मी अमिता मॅडमना नक्कीच रिक्वेस्ट करेन की तुम्ही आजचं सेशन आता सायन्स भूगोल मार्गदर्शन आपण विद्यार्थ्यांना करावं. अमिता मॅडम.
थँक्यू दया मॅम. खूपच ग्रेट इंट्रोडक्शन केली त्यांनी माझी. एवढं माझं अचीवमेंट नाहीये व्हेरी फ्रँकली. आय एम जस्ट अ टीचर, अ फॅसिलिटेटर टू स्टुडंट्स. पण गेले 15-20 वर्ष हे काम केल्यामुळे जी क्लॅरिटी विषयांमध्ये आली, आय हॅव सीन द चेंज दॅट इज हॅपनिंग ऑल थ्रू आउट. आय होप मराठी आणि इंग्लिश हे दोन्हीही लँग्वेजेस इज ओके विथ ऑल द पार्टिसिपंट्स.
I think only English.
Only English, right? Yeah. Okay, ma'am. I'll stick to that. Right. Thank you so much. Yes. So a very warm good afternoon to everybody who's here, and I'm so glad that you have left your afternoon naps to join this webinar. I know in vacations it is a bit tough to join at this time. So I welcome all of you here, and I hope whatever I tell you today will be of help to you. I will try to be as precise as I can. And let's, without any ado, start with my presentation. So I'll be sharing a PPT. My name is Amita Vellar, for those of you who don't know me. And I'll be sharing the screen. So please let me know once you get to see my presentation. And we'll go in the presentation mode. Yes. Yeah, ma'am, visible to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you so much. At any point of time, ma'am, if you feel there's any problem technically in the presentation, you can stop me. Right. So this is a nutshell presentation about NEP and what it is all about. Most of you have seen this, heard this. It has been going on since the last 2 years. And finally, the day has come when they are implementing it in our schools. So a quick recap for all of you. I'll just take a pointer so that you understand where I'm talking about and what. Yeah, there's a red pointer that I'm using. Is it visible to most of you? I'll just check it once more. Yes, there it goes. So the entire NEP 2020 is aimed at, getting the schooling in 4 stages. This is called the 5+3+3+4 pedagogical system. What does it mean? The first 5 years, it's going to be foundational years till class 2, that is pre-primary to class 2, right? Pre-KG to class 2. Then we are going to the middle stages of 3 years each. That is, we have 3rd, 4th, 5th as 1 year and 6th, 7th, 8th as 1 set. And finally, coming to our curriculum, which is more important to us, the secondary stage, which is classes 9 to 12. While the board exams for 10th and 12th will continue in the new system. So there was a lot of question in everybody's mind whether boards are going to continue. So yes, they are for a few years. There will be 10 standard exams. The examination pattern will be reformed so that the need for coaching classes is removed, right? All students will be allowed to take board exams up to 2 times during a school year. That is 1 main examination and 1 for improvement. That's a big change that is coming by. It is something like, the board wants you to try to attempt it for the second time, so you have improvement scope while you can still continue your higher grade education. So you will be in proper 11th standard, and yet you can appear for improvement for 10th standard examination. That's a very big change in our board's curriculum. Higher education institutes will be organized into 3 types of institutions: research, teaching, and autonomous degree granting ones. So now we are not going to have the typical arts, science, commerce after 10th standard, which we are used to. So there will be a mixed bag of options that are coming up, but that will take a few more years to get implemented in the proper sense, right? Students have the option to graduate with a degree or a diploma at their own convenience. You can take a break and your education will still be valid. So there are many points like this which are very, very good about NEP, and it is something that we should all be excited about, right? Yes, let's move on to the next slide. Talking about science and NEP and how does it apply to us? Okay, most of this we've been following as CBSE schools, so I don't think I have to go into details, but a quick recap. There will be an annual examination of 80 marks, 20 marks for internal assessment. And for internal assessments, we have 4 areas of 5 marks in which the school will be grading you. For 5 marks, you will have 3 periodic tests, internal written test, which are generally pre-mid, midterm, and post-mid. And we take the best of 2 in this, right? And that will be graded for 5 marks. Then we have 5 marks, diverse methods of assessment. What does it mean by saying diverse methods? We will have something which is other than pen paper method of examination. So you will have short test, oral test, quizzes, you can do creative concerts, you know, all kinds of work, and that will be called as multiple assessments in every subject. So science will also have multiple assessments throughout the year, and that will go towards your 5 marks for the final exam. Then we have the practical or the laboratory work that is going out throughout the year. So there will be a journal that needs to be maintained. The list is already up in the CBSE site. You can please check it out. And 5 marks for that for the final exam towards the practical examination. And the last 5 marks are for the portfolio. What is portfolio? Portfolio is something that you keep doing throughout the year. Yes, all your classwork, homework will be maintained properly in a presentable file, and that will carry 5 marks. So this is the distribution of the internal 20 marks, which are going to be graded to you by the school, and 80 marks is your final board examination, which I think we've been following since 8th grade. Yes. Coming to the course structure, why I'm being quick with all this is because this is all from the internet. You will find everything of this on the CBSE academic site. For those of you who don't know, www.cbseacademic.nic. You can go there and check all these details are there. So I'm just giving a brief preview of all this to all of you. The first part is how your syllabus is distributed according to what we call as physics, chemistry, bio. But here they have chemical substances, which is nature and behavior, chemistry, world of living, biology, which is again 25 marks. Natural phenomena. Physics is divided into 2 parts, natural phenomena and effects of current, which is 12 plus 13. So again, coming to 25. So you see it's very, very equally distributed. So there is no proper preferences for physics, chemistry, or bio. Everything is nearly the same. And then we have environmental, natural resources. Why they have given only 5 is because we are going to have only chapter 15. If you have your textbook around you and if the contents are around you, chapter 15, our environment, is the only one which is being tested in the final exam. Chapter 14 and 16, which are sources of energy and sustainable management, are going to be internally graded. Portfolio activities hai, jo mention ki hui hai board ne, so teachers will take activities regarding that. So that is how your 80 marks have been distributed. This is there on the CBSE site. Any one of you feels you need to have a print screen, you can do that. And adding our internal assessment, that is how your total 100 marks for the paper come up. Now coming to the question paper design, this is where major change due to NEP has come in. If you want to see the comparison, you can check previous year's design also, which are on the net. Demonstration of knowledge and understanding, which is supposed to be a very basic level of questioning. There's something called as Bloom's taxonomy, which most of the teachers here know. So that is where your understanding level tak के questions आते हैं, knowledge based basically, you know. Application of knowledge and concepts, this part has been brought up. It was around 15 to 17% last year. Now it has come up to 22%. And this new part, which is formulate, analyze, evaluate, and create, this is what we call higher order thinking skills. Many of you know this as HOTS, right? But so far in our examinations, most of the HOTS were what used to be covered in class, right? So that is not how it will be now. The paper will be really authentically based on your case-based questions and application-based scenarios where you will have to apply the conceptual knowledge that is taught to you. So this 22 plus 52, if you can see, is more than 50% of the paper. This is where NEP is leading you to. It wants every student to be able to analyze the paper, have very clear conceptual knowledge. It will not be a ratify paper. You will not be able to get good marks just by rote learning any answer. So if your concepts are not clear, this year will be a little tough for you. So right at the beginning of the year, because, you know, we have this session here, you have the chance to still aim at doing something much better than just rote learning. Yes, I will be going to the next slide now. Yeah, this I feel is something that students generally don't do till December. So I have done this for you here at this moment. It is a very good way of analyzing a question paper. It's called question paper analysis. And this is how the board paper pattern is. We have 5 sections, right? And A section is objective. I think most of you would have had your last year final exam based on this pattern only. Every CBSE school tries to do that. But yet, for those of you for whom this is new, you can take this down. Section A will be all objectives, 1 mark questions, 20 questions, 20 marks, right? You will have MCQs, multiple choice questions, and you will have assertion reason questions here. Now, let me again tell you, just a quick reference to the National Science CBSE Challenge. If any of you had attempted that, which just happened in April right now, that paper, if you see, if you can lay your hands on, please download that and check. The kind of MCQs they have asked are really tough. They are not something that you just meagerly read the text and you will be able to attempt. So what they are aiming at in these MCQs is you should be able to comprehend first the objection. What is the objective? What is that paper or that question testing you on? Which is the concept? And then there will be application related to that concept, which is not from the textbook. So something which you will really have to read up a little bit better, you know, because they are planning to make it a little tough. They want to be able to make you ready for your future jobs. You know, your jobs are all going to be related to your understanding, the way you apply, the way you create, the way you are getting new stuff, thinking about new questions. So that is what they're aiming at. So please try to see to it that you have some extra info on this, and question papers naturally are going to be of big help, right? And assertion reason, again, very important. Many children are confused between how to attempt a assertion and reason question. So maybe when I'm doing the next slides, I'll give you a quick recap on that. Right now, we're just going through the paper pattern. So I have approximately even put the number of minutes that you give, the time allotted to that question, so that, you know, you cover your question well within our time limit and you still have 15 to 20 minutes left for checking your paper. So this is just a rough idea. Naturally, at the beginning of the year, this actually comes in reply after November when you start solving your board papers, right? Now, the second section is section B, very short answers. There are going to be 6 questions, and each one of it is for 2 marks. So the total for the question is 12 marks. And we have given 15 minutes here. Now, again, I will let you know that here you can have point-wise answers. You can write keywords. Yes, scientific keywords are what the entire 10th standard science paper is all about. If you don't know the scientific vocabulary, you are going to fall short. You will not be granted marks. Teachers will not understand, oh, he means to say this. No, that is what we did earlier, believe me, but now they are not going to allow us to do that. So please see to it that you have your scientific vocabulary done. So every concept that is taught in class, you will see to it that you write down keywords, you know their meanings, you know what other words can be used if this word is not to be used. So you have to know all the synonyms, antonyms. That's where your English also comes in. You have to be good, fluent in your language, correct? Then comes the C section, which is short answers. These are 3-mark questions. There'll be 7 of them. So you have a total of 21 marks for this section. And I am approximately giving it 4 minutes per question. But these 3 sections, A, B, and C, are something that a student who has fair knowledge of science as a subject will be able to cover, okay? Till here, NEP is a little lenient. It's not going to give drastic changes. There will be 1 or 2 questions, and there are internal choices. This last column is for internal choices. So according to the current sample paper that they have shown for 23-24, these are the options. In 3-mark questions, you will have 2 internal options. What I mean by saying internal is that suppose you have, let's assume it's question number, let's go, 27 onwards, right? According to the time. So 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 30. Now in this, one of the questions, suppose 30th question, if it has an internal choice, there will be a or written. And if it's a chemistry question, there will be a chemistry internal option for it. It could be the same chapter or it could be some other chapter, right? So that is what is the meaning by internal option, that you are not going to have an overall option of the question. The number is going to remain the same. You have 7 questions, you have to attempt 7. But internally, 2 questions will have a or option. So whichever concept is better prepared, you can opt that question. Section D, which is long answers. Yes, naturally 5-mark questions. Only 3 of them here. If you can see, even though they are only 3, they are quite tough. They are something that you need to analyze. There will be only 1 question which has an internal A, B, C, D, E or some short answers. Most of them are, essay type questions. So you will have to think of the points, good presentation, the way you write your answers, your points should be very, very, very clear on what you are saying. So these will be the questions from every chapter, which will be more difficult to solve. If you skip out any point, you lose a mark. Yeah, so you have to be very careful about that. 15 minutes given to each question. So 45 minutes. So roughly 1 hour for long answers. And coming to the last section, which is case-based. Now, many of you feel, oh, what's new in this? We had case-based earlier also. No, but that is where, again, I'm telling you, if you have the CBSE Science Challenge, you will understand where the board is aiming at. They are not giving you something very easy, something which is already mentioned in your textbook. They are not doing that. They are going to give you higher order case-based questions, something that is really applicable to the real world, but in a sense, never heard of before in your class. You know, your teachers might discuss as many as they come. We try to give maximum opening to children, but yet sometimes, yes, there are bouncers, there are questions which seem very tough. But you have to be able to apply, understand which concept is being asked, and then the answer can just click. So practice. These 2 questions require a lot of practice. This is where NEP is going to bring about a major change in the question paper. And here again, I'll tell you, 5 minutes per question, 15 minutes. Sometimes, earlier it was said that they're going to be MCQs, but no, now they are not saying that. They are not saying it's going to be MCQs. It will be straight 1-marker questions. So you have to be really good at answering all of them. So that is how our 80 marks are covered. And the approximately timing, if you add all this up, comes to 165. And you have a 3-mark paper, a 3-hour paper, I'm sorry. So 180 minutes, out of which we have utilized 165 right now. And that should be the aim. And that does happen at the end of the year. So timing as of now is not your worry, but please understand that each of these sections now is going to be much tougher than what it was earlier. So we need to have a lot of practice again. Yes, let's move on to the preparation tips that I'm going to give you. Very frankly speaking, this preparation tips are meant for the end of the year. But yes, because we are talking about the entire science as a curriculum for now, we will say how we are going to go about revising things, right? So please understand there's a reduced syllabus. Every year there is a new syllabus that is given to the school, and teachers will very promptly must have told you in April beginning itself. If not, you can again go to the the CBSE site and download that syllabus, reduced syllabus. The new textbooks, if I'm not wrong, already have the reduced syllabus. So chapter 5, as you know, periodic classification has been deleted. Then we have evolution part, which is again deleted from chapter 9, heredity and evolution. अब सिर्फ heredity नाम करके वो chapter दिया हुआ है. And chapter 14 and 16 are not going to be covered in the final exam. So such changes are all there. So please be sure not to study the deleted syllabus. It just increases your stress. Yeah, the next part is, I have shown you already the weightage, as I said, science weightage. I just showed you the chemistry, physics, bio distribution. It is also there on the site for those of you who have not taken it down right now. Check important diagrams and practice drawing them with leaf label. So biology, if I can stress, biology is something that cannot be done with that, right? Every context that you are learning, every concept that you are learning has a well-labeled diagram. And if you're not able to do that diagram, mind you, marks are deducted. There are many children who feel, "Arey, humne theory mein to itna bada likha, you know, I've written 2 pages. A teacher will read and give you marks." But a diagram talks more than your words. And if you're correctly representing it with your correct labels, yes, there is a good chance of scoring. So all the artists out there, you know, you have a real good chance. And again, let me tell you, you don't have to be an artist to do good biology diagrams. It's only conceptual representation. So when I ask you to draw a diagram of a heart, you are not going to draw a box with 4 columns in it. Yeah, that is a schematic diagram that is allowed only in double circulation. When you do a detailed heart diagram, it needs to look like a heart, and you have to have all the labels done correctly. So that requires a lot of practice. It is something you can do in the May vacation. Why I'm stressing on this right now is, अगर बहुत पढ़ाई का मन नहीं करे, बहुत गर्मी हो रही है, तो please sit and practice diagrams at least at home, because that's something you can do in your spare time. And it requires a lot of practice. Life processes, chapter 6 itself, which many of you have at least partially covered in April. So please see to it that you start practicing the diagrams, neat labeled ones. There are many easy diagram links which are on the internet. So you can please see to it that you get to solve that, right? Then learn and practice writing important formulae, balanced chemical reactions. Now this is something that I've observed children are not good at. Chemistry basics agar weak hai, because you 6th, 7th standard, I think all of you were, you know, in offline classes and online classes, I'm so sorry. And because of the COVID, and wo classes matlab video ban dhyan nahi diya, so somebody's mic has been turned on. Yes. Okay. Thank you. So we have to see to it that we are doing all our basics that need to be covered in May vacations, because that's the biggest time we have in our hands to focus. After that, there's just a wild rush in school. Everybody knows that, right? Okay. Coming to the next points about practice, physics, numericals, something that children dread. I don't know why. Actually speaking, it's not the mathematics that you dread. It is about applying those formulas in science that seems tough to you. So मेरे ख्याल से अगर आपने basic formula revise कर लिए, if you know how to do your LCMs, if you learn your charts by heart, you know, you do the entire chart of convex lens, concave lens, where object is, where images, I don't think you should have that much of trouble. So please see to it that conceptually you are very strong. Again and again, we come to that same point. If you pay attention to what the teacher is teaching in the class and you make your regular practice, it is very simple. Focus on keywords and form answers in points. Very, very, very important. Even a 1 marker, even a 2 marker can be written in points. You know, it makes it very easy for the teacher to check. Flowcharts and tabular form for better retention. When you do your self-study, it should always be in this format. It cannot be in the same textbook format because you already have a printed text with you. So if you have to make it easier for yourself, you see to it that you do it in flowcharts and tabular forms. Self-made notes are important for last-minute exam revision. मतलब जब आप एग्जाम सेंटर पे जाओगे बोर्ड के, तब टेक्स्ट बुक्स या बड़ी बड़ी नोटबुक्स लेके नहीं जाना है. इट इज ऑलवेज द नोट्स दैट यू हैव मेड which are very important for last minute revision. Read the lab manual. Yes, the least the most ignored part of students, least attention paid to the lab manual. You really have to read it very well. There are many questions on it. There are many precautions. There are many aims and apparatus that are mentioned, which mostly children don't know. So activity based questions bhi bahut sare aate hain in MCQs, in case based. So you have to see to it that you read your lab manuals with attention on observation, conclusion, and precautions. Yes, coming to the last preparation tip. This is for the new NEP syllabus with focus on competency-based questions. Now, there are many people who don't understand what is competency-based. Competency ka matlab hai a skill, something that you are being tested on. So every concept which is taught to you has many different skills involved. The first is just maybe understanding the meaning of some word. Yeah, then comes the application. Where do you apply that word? Yeah, then comes the creativity part, that if you were supposed to build a model on your own, if you were supposed to write a hypothesis on whether this could work, yeah, whether you want to test somebody, evaluate of whether this system is going to work or not, all that are competencies for every concept that is taught. So the focus on the new NEP questions is going to be competency based questions. Students need to develop good comprehension and analytical skills, analysis of a question. Practical application skills are also a must. So you have to be able to perform and also see the application of every concept in real world. Where can that be? Because that could be one of your case-based questions. Regular practice and solving many board question papers will be the difference between average score and extraordinary. Till now, it was easy to just revise what we did in the class. We just read the notebook once, just look at the notes you've made and go and attempt, and still the paper used to be easy. But now it will be something that you really have to scratch your head, apply, think, analyze, and then do. So that is why regular practice will make all the difference. Good conceptual clarity and good scientific vocabulary are a must. There are many children, because of COVID, have not done their basics very nicely, still don't understand how or what is writing a formula or a balanced chemical equation. So please see to it that in this vacations, again and again, I'm stressing that you see to it that all your basics are clear and your scientific vocabulary has to be good. Which keyword is to be used where? And coming to the last part, this is a question that I have incorporated just as an example of competency-based question. We'll quickly read through it. It says the photograph shows salmon, which is a type of fish. Some humans eat salmon as a source of protein. Protein is a component of a balanced diet. Which statement describes what happens to salmon protein in the human stomach? So you see, actually, if you had not been given any of this information, what is the baseline? Which question is it? That protein breaks down into what? Yeah, what is the last component of the digestion of protein? ये ऐसा one-liner question हमारे regular papers में बहुत सारा आया हुआ है. But when it is given with a diagram, when it is given with this kind of information, children tend to go a little wrong because distractors are very close. Let's read. It is digested into amino acids, that A option. Its surface area is increased by bile. Its pH is raised by hydrochloric acid, and it is absorbed by villi. For those of you whose concepts are very strong, no, or maybe this could be a little early for me to discuss this, but I've just given this example that these three are not right conceptually. So this is like, assertion, a fact that is not put in a correct way. So answer is A, it is digested into amino acids. So protein ka digestion amino acid mein hota hai. Bas itna hi basic hai. But you see the way they frame the question is somewhere children tend to lose their confidence. So aise bouncer questions exam mein honge. So we have to be a little prepared for that. And that's it. Summing up the entire presentation. You have to have conceptual clarity. Very, very important, क्योंकि इसके बगैर पेपर अटेम्प्ट करना बहुत मुश्किल है. So this is what you can do in summer vacations right now. Whatever you have learned, please see to it that your concepts are really, really clear. Regular practice. I've put a football there just to attract all of you. That जैसे games में practice करते हैं हम, वैसे ही एग्जाम में भी करेंगे तो regular practice will help in getting good marks and solving many question papers. And this is where Supermind is naturally going to help you. They have a series of question papers that help you do your best in every subject and every chapter, right? So yes, from my side, a big thank you to everyone who's here, patiently listening to me all throughout. And I am open to take questions. Daya ma'am, should I stop sharing?
Yes. You can stop sharing. Actually, कुणाला काही questions असतील तर definitely you put in chat box. Otherwise, you unmute yourself and you can ask the questions. मॅम एक questions मला इथे फेसबुकला आलेला आहे की लेसनचं रीडिंग ची मेथड कशी पाहिजे, म्हणजे जेव्हा कन्सेप्च्युअल त्यांना क्लॅरिटी हवी आहे, म्हणजे रोट लर्निंग नुसतंच रीडिंग नकोय तर आपल्याला ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड रीडिंग हवंय. सो डेली रीडिंग साठी त्यांनी काय केलं पाहिजे, हाऊ टू रीड?
राईट. सो व्हॉट आय फील, जस्ट अ सजेशन, देर आर मेनी डिफरंट वेज ऑफ डुईंग इट. But if a child reads a page, a concept, you can take one concept which is taught in the class, because generally in class 10 there are 2-3 concepts covered in one 30-35 minutes lecture. So when the child comes home, this would be addressed to parents. I think there are parents who are asking this. So you can take up the child's reading on that particular concept which is taught in the class, right? See to it what he has covered and make him write keywords. Scientific keywords are very important. Many children, they have a gist. They know overall what is the answer, but they cannot represent it as the keywords that are expected, which is how the answer key comes to us teachers, So if that word is missing and everything around it is correct, we cannot give marks. The child loses marks unnecessarily. So ek baar ye dekhiyega ki when the child reads, let him underline the keywords in the text and let him write it down in his practice notebook. Those are the notes that I'm talking about. Let him give a heading and let him write down those keywords with meaning. And then the parent or the child herself or himself could formulate 1 or 2 mark questions. Framing questions on any concept is very good way of understanding the clarity of the entire subject. आप ही खुद सवाल पूछो और आप ही खुद सवाल लिखो, जवाब लिखो. When you do that, you will be able to understand. For a 2 mark question, minimum 2 keywords, maximum 4 keywords. Half a mark a keyword is, beyond that you do not get marks. So half a mark keyword hai to 4 keywords hone chahiye ek 2 mark ke jawab mein. Aisa agar aap training abhi se de, if children think of studying like that, it will be very easy for them to be able to understand and analyze their own paper writing skills. So after they write the paper, they will themselves know how good they have written the paper and be able to analyze their marks. That's my input.
Okay. Yes. The next one question is for short answer question or long answer question. Right. Can student write is in his own words or what?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Science as a subject is not specific to words. As I said, it's only the scientific keywords which we are looking for. Yeah, so sentence formation is not such a hard cofactor in marks. A student can write in his own words. The sentence formation can be anything, but those keywords have to be there. He has to underline those keywords and write. So agar regular notes mein bachcha flowchart banata hai, that's a very good method again, writing flowcharts. Keywords ke niche just the sequencing of what comes after what, especially for a 3 mark and a 5 mark answer. In life processes, digestion, respiration, kaise ek ke baad ek steps hoti hai. Agar wo flowchart mein bachcha likhe in his own keywords, and then he makes the answer for his examination. So beach wala fillers has to be a 10th standard vocabulary English ke hisab se, but otherwise marks are not deducted for that. I hope I answered that question.
अजून कोणाला काही क्वेश्चन्स असतील तर प्लीज feel free to ask to ma'am. Unmute yourself or put it in the chat box. What Sai Nimdev, unmute yourself, Sai.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I have a question. Like, can you please suggest a few books which we can refer for exams?
Textbook.
There, ma'am, if I could. Reference books, actually, I restrict children from saying that. I refrain them because what happens is, they give you a ready-made answer language, which many times is not understood by students. है ना? तो एक कोशिश करना for the next 2 months, you try to formulate your own answers when the teacher is teaching in class. If you go back home and study that much concept, as I told you, just enter keywords and then frame the answers. You will feel it is really easy.
Okay.
What happens? Yeah, I have seen many children who try to take, these reference books ke notes, and फिर एक बार अगर जवाब सामने है, ready-made answer, our brain is very lazy. कौन कोशिश करेगा? Why to do it when it's, yeah. So that, it just refrains you from making your own answer. So पहले 2 महीने I would suggest कोशिश करिए. If not, I will share the reference books list with them, ma'am. I think teachers there also at Supermind will be able to share that reference book thing. But initially, don't go for it. Don't go for it. That's my advice.
Okay, ma'am.
Right.
Thank you.
And I want to add one thing. Textbook is very, very sufficient and very beautiful, I think.
Correct.
Textbook
Correct.
Last session that Bhardi ma'am was said that your textbook is your Bible, your textbook is your Gita,
Yes.
your textbook is your all. So
read it 3-4 times a day.
study of the textbook is very, very important, I think.
Yes, yes. But unfortunately, there, ma'am, in science, there are certain concepts which are not elaborated.
Exactly. So
Yes.
that's why, exactly. So that's why there is the one good thing की Supermind ने ह्याच्यासाठीच chapter wise question paper दिलेले आहे. की त्या chapter wise question paper मध्ये विद्यार्थ्यांनी प्रत्येक chapter वर जे question paper आहे ते question paper विद्यार्थ्यांनी घ्यायचे आहे, ते solve करायचे, ते solve करून आपल्याकडे पाठवल्यानंतर आपण त्यांना ते चेक करून विथ रिमार्क्स आपण परत देतो की ज्याच्यामुळे टेक्स्टबुकचा थरो स्टडी ह्याच्यामध्ये विद्यार्थ्यांचा डेफिनेटली होतो की जो खूप गरजेचा आहे. आता तुम्ही जे सांगितलं की विद्यार्थ्यांना रोट लर्निंग करून काहीही उपयोग होणार
नाही जमणार आहे यावर्षी अजिबातच नाही. करेक्ट.
एक्झॅक्टली. आणि त्याच्यासाठी जर का कॉन्टॅक्ट करायचा असेल तर डेफिनेटली सुपरमाइंडला तुम्ही कॉन्टॅक्ट करू शकता. चॅटबॉक्स मध्ये नंबर आता दिलेलेच आहेत 7447416665 आणि 6668 या दोन्ही नंबरला तुम्ही डेफिनेटली कॉन्टॅक्ट करू शकता. अजून कोणाचे काही डाऊट्स स्टुडंट असतील तर तुम्ही डेफिनेटली स्वतःला अनम्यूट करून विचारू शकता. आत्ताच्या एक्झाम मध्ये बऱ्याच स्टुडंट्स असं झालंय की केस बेस्ड क्वेश्चन्स थोडेसे मुलांना अवघड जात आहेत. तर त्याच्याबद्दल मॅडम थोडंसं सांगू शकाल की त्याची सुरुवातीपासून त्याची प्रॅक्टिस कशी केली पाहिजे?
करेक्ट. जस्ट वन स्मॉल एक्झाम्पल. केमिस्ट्रीचा चॅप्टर 1 मोस्टली सगळ्या सीबीएसई शाळांचा झाला असेल बिकॉज वी स्टार्ट इन एप्रिल. सो ऑक्सिडेशन रिडक्शन, this concept which is there, and we have 2-3 applications of oxidation given in the book. Other than that, there are many simple things happening in your house. Kitchen is the best way where chemistry can be learned, actually, the place where chemistry can be learned. And I have seen many sample papers in which they have used these small concepts of chemistry in kitchen. So, why, see, rusting, everybody knows. Rusting is another example of oxidation, but it is typical only to iron. तो वैसे अगर लिया जाए तो किचन में भी हम बहुत सारा देखते हैं, या चीजें हरी हो जाती है, sometimes they become black, sometimes they become this. So just observation. See, my suggestion that science is something that you have to have good observational skills. It is happening all around you everywhere. So whenever you look at something, question it. Don't accept it. Arey haan hai. It's just there. No, it's not there. Why? Children have this ability. See, small children keep asking continuous questions. ऐसा क्यों? खिलौना ऐसा क्यों चलता है? You'll open it and see why the wheel is rotating like this. They don't know anything about gears. You study gears in 10th standard. But they are inquisitive at that age. They want to know why something is turning. They don't accept it as it is. So please keep that child alive in you. Keep questioning, because that questioning ability and observational skills is what is going to make you a scientist in the future. That is the skill that will help you understand case-based questions, because everywhere you will see applications. You will not ask a question, why am I learning chemistry? Why am I learning biology? Because it is there all around you. If it is happening within your body, there's biology, physics, and chemistry, everything happening within your body, and you're living, right? You're living with it. So that means asking the question, why I'm studying this is irrelevant now. You just have to know where to for it. Oh, this is chemistry. Oh, wow. Oh, this is biology. Yes, this is happening. So ऐसे छोटी-छोटी चीजें हर बार होती रहेंगी. Many case-based questions in the sample papers also, in the papers that Daya madam is going to give you also. But otherwise also, जब आप काम कर रहे हो घर पे and you see a practical application, you should always question it. That will help you lead to good scientific temper. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And next one question is there. if physics के numerical जो रहते हैं, उसमें बहुत marks जाते हैं. So how to practice for from the start of the year,
from the
academic
beginning
year?
of the year?
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Yes. And I'm telling you again, it's just a block that you have created, students. Please do not assume that it is tough. You know, if you start something by saying it's tough, it will remain tough for the entire year. Your brain, plays tricks on you. And आपने उसको बोला अच्छा ये मुश्किल है तो it will try to always put it behind the schedule. उसको कभी हाथ में लेने देगा नहीं वो brain. So don't tell it. You say you're confident. I'll be able to do it. Learn all your formulas. Please write it on a big chart paper. Colorful sketch pens में बड़ा बड़ा अक्षर में लिखिएगा. Everybody in your house has to know. जो भी घर में आए पता चलना चाहिए एक 10th standard का बच्चा है घर पे. All cupboards should be covered. Yeah, every day morning you get up, you sleep. You don't realize unknowingly all those formulas are entering your head. That is why visual representation is very, very important. है ना? तो बड़े बड़े चार्ट करके लगाइएगा. You learn all those basics by heart and again practice. छोटे छोटे steps में करिएगा. पहले 2 marker questions, 2 marker numericals solve करिएगा. U and V are given, what is F? F and V is given, what is U? First you have to know what is U, है ना? तो U equal to object distance. ये बात ऐसे पक्की बैठनी चाहिए जैसे आप सुबह उठोगे तो अभी ब्रश करते हो ना, you don't eat without brushing. So it should be internalized so much now. This is the basic of class 10. इतनी बार practice हो जानी चाहिए कि it doesn't look like it's tough at all. It becomes a part of your everyday routine. It has to be done 20 minutes per day. That's the schedule I give children because 20 minutes के ऊपर brain नहीं focus कर पाता है ना. So 20 minutes physics, then do a language, then come to mathematics, then again do SST का एक subject. You have to alternate your activities so that your mind remains fresh. But change is only change of study. Break matlab change of study or some recreational activity for 15-20 minutes and then again come back here. If you spend this year like this, you will not regret it and you are learning lifelong habits, something good you are developing because this is the first competitive exam you're giving. Believe me, aage ke zyada tough hai. Yes. So please see to it that you develop a good routine. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. One next question is biology की जो concept है, जो terminology है, वो ध्यान में रखने के लिए क्या करना जरूरी है? क्योंकि बहुत सारे terminology है.
Big keywords are there. Yes.
Yeah, keywords and because of that keywords, बहुत वो घबराते हैं student.
घबराते हैं बच्चे. हाँ. See, it is not completely memory based also, but yes, there are some terms which needs to be by hearted. So acronyms will always play a good job. Like one example I can give you is the reactivity series. Chemistry में तो reactivity series के metals को अगर याद करना है तो वो Bollywood का Katrina वाला, I'm not sure if all of you know. In my school, it is very, very prominent. Katrina ne car mangi. This is all there in the internet. If you try to give a search or if you form your own acronyms, something that helps you remember the sequence of the words and taking one first digit of the words. जैसे planets को learn करने के लिए 3rd 4th standard में आपने My Very Intelligent Mother किया था. So acronyms have been used a lot in education. तो ये बहुत help करेगा आपको उसको sequencing में याद रखना and then उसको extension करके उसके functions याद रखना. In biology, it is structure function relationship, very important. So जहां जहां folded membrane आता है, villi आता है, उसका क्या function है, बहुत सारी जगहों पे आएगा. So if you are able to relate, अरे हाँ हमने intestine में भी देखा था, अरे हाँ mitochondria के अंदर भी है. So you see, you have to have those connections that yes, there are those villi and when they increase surface area, the folds will help in increasing the function of that particular organ. So like that, if you're able to relate, and believe me, you'll find it so interesting if you study in this pattern. So don't make any studying rote. जब वो word rote आ जाता है तो बहुत bore हो जाता है ना. So try to make it interesting. Try to draw diagrams. That's why I'm telling you biology is very, very nice. It's my special subject. I like it. And because you can relate it, you can see diagrams, you can see in the microscope what is happening around you, right? So be interested when the teacher is taking you to the lab. You will be able to relate many things there. Okay, thank you.
Ma'am, out of my curiosity, is there any possibilities to any lesson रहेगा वो ऑप्शनल के लिए डाल सकते हैं स्टूडेंट वगैरह, ऐसा है? ऐसा स्टूडेंट का क्वेश्चन मुझे आता है, इसलिए मैंने
एज अ स्टूडेंट नहीं, क्या क्या कर सकते हैं हम, आई टेल यू. बायोलॉजी तो नहीं बिल्कुल, बिकॉज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एंड
और
कॉन्सेप्चुअली
मुझे लगता है कि वो सभी करना चाहिए, तो
हाँ, स्किप
आप अगर
करने की जरूरत नहीं बायो में. बट फिजिक्स में आई कैन टेल यू देयर आर सर्टेन चिल्ड्रन हु कैन नॉट, दे जस्ट कांट अंडरस्टैंड द कॉन्सेप्ट्स. तो क्या करेंगे हम, इफ यू आर टेकिंग रिफ्लेक्शन एंड रिफ्रैक्शन एज चैप्टर 10 लाइट, तो आप एक काम कर सकते हो कि आप रिफ्लेक्शन पूरी तरह से कर लो. सो मिरर पे अगर कोई क्वेश्चन आता है एंड ऑल, यू नो, बिकॉज देन यू नो कि नहीं हमें ये नहीं आता, यू ट्राई टू रोट इट इनटू योर हेड, यू आर गोइंग टू क्रॉस मोर प्रॉब्लम्स टू योरसेल्फ. सो माय इनिशियल एडवाइस वुड बी नहीं, कुछ नहीं छोड़ना है. बट अगर बिल्कुल ही मुश्किल लग रहा है तो द रिफ्लेक्शन पार्ट यू कैन, रिफ्रैक्शन पार्ट यू कैन स्किप. द लेंसेज पार्ट मेनी चिल्ड्रन फाइंड इट टफ इवन टू ड्रॉ द रे डायग्राम्स एंड इवन टू सॉल्व द न्यूमेरिकल्स, है ना. तो इनिशियल पहले 2 महीने में फॉर प्रीमेड एग्जामिनेशन फॉर मैटर, आप सिर्फ मिरर्स करो, यू फोकस ऑन मिरर्स, you see that you're a master at it, and then when you start developing the understanding, even lenses will come easy to you, है ना. तो ऐसे एक एक कॉन्सेप्ट, नॉट पूरा पूरा चैप्टर और पूरा पूरा ये नहीं, देयर इज नो स्कोप इन 10th to do that, I'm sorry. So what you do is you will just skip a certain part which you find tough initially, but you will try to come back to it later. That's my advice there, ma'am. मुझे नहीं लगता कोई पूरा ऑप्शन छोड़ सकते हैं हम 10th में.
that's I'm
Correct.
और एक क्वेश्चन मेरे पास आया था कि एक्चुअली क्या होता है कि मेरे पास बहुत स्टूडेंट आते हैं, तो ऐसा होता है मैम कि उनका पेपर रीड करने के लिए इतना टाइम जाता है स्टूडेंट का बोर्ड में, तो उनका पेपर सब आता है फिर भी वो कवर नहीं होता,
कर नहीं पाते.
तो रीडिंग प्रैक्टिस भी जरूरत है, तो इसके लिए क्या करना चाहिए मैम?
बहुत ज्यादा, वेरी वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन. एंड यू नो व्हाट हैपेंस इज, हमें ये सवाल आता नहीं है बिकॉज द वे वी हैव लर्नड इन स्कूल, हमारी बहुत प्रैक्टिस हो चुकी है रीडिंग की, वेरी फ्रैंकली. एंड रीडिंग अ न्यूज़पेपर, रीडिंग मैगजीन्स एवरी डे, रीडिंग स्टोरी बुक्स, दीज आर ऑल मेथड्स इन व्हिच यू इंक्रीज योर स्पीड ऑफ रीडिंग. सो बिकॉज मे वेकेशंस चल रहे हैं अभी, यू नो, यू डोंट हैव टू बी 24/7 इनटू लर्निंग एज ऑफ नाउ. तो थोड़ा ब्रेक चल रहा है, छुट्टियां चल रही है, but see to it that you're at least listening to good language and you're reading newspapers, you're reading magazines, reading something after a certain amount of time of reading, you know, मुझे कोई भी पेज पढ़ने में 1 या 1.5 मिनट लगता है. I can skim reading, you know, it's called skim reading. That means जो जरूरी वर्ड्स है ना, they just come out. वो तारे जमीन पर आपने देखा है ना, जैसे उसके वो सारे नंबर्स उड़ते रहते हैं, वैसे मेरे वाले important words just jump out of the page for me. So I can skim reading, and that is why my speed increases. So even when I read a question in the paper, I know what words are important. They will try to give you distractors. They will purposely put words which don't mean anything. That info doesn't mean anything to you. वो पढ़ोगे तो आप ज़्यादा confuse हो जाओगे. But that is the skill of good vocabulary, understanding the language. Scientific language भी बहुत जरूरी है ना? तो इसीलिए कौन सी चीज जरूरी है, कौन सी नहीं है, ये भी प्रैक्टिस के तौर पर ही आएगा. एंड राइट नाउ माय ओनली सजेशन वुड बी टू जस्ट रीड बुक्स, रीड मैगजीन्स, रीड न्यूज़पेपर. अगर कुछ और नहीं तो एक इंग्लिश न्यूज़पेपर पूरे 10th स्टैंडर्ड के इसमें, यू सी टू इट दैट यू रीड एंड कम. स्कूल शुरू हो जाए तो स्कूल से जाने के बाद घर पे ब्रेक के लिए पढ़ सकते हो, बट नाउ यू कैन रीड इट इन द मॉर्निंग्स. दैट विल रियली हेल्प यू अंडरस्टैंड थिंग्स एंड नॉलेज ऑफ द वर्ल्ड.
Right, yes, very true मैम. So बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस मैंने अभी जो स्टूडेंट के आए थे वो बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस कवर किए थे, तो उसमें व्हाट इज द जिस्ट ऑफ टुडेज सेशन इज द प्रैक्टिस. That is very important, and thorough study of the textbook is very important. That's why you can contact to Superman. There is the we put the number in the chat box 7441 741 665 and 668. With this note, मला वाटतं आपल्या सगळ्यांच्या बऱ्यापैकी डाऊट सगळ्यांचे संपलेले आहेत, कव्हर झालेले आहेत. डेफिनेटली कुणाला मी अजून 1 मिनिट देते. Yes.
Can we have a question bank for case-based questions? Where can we find it?
Yeah, actually, you know, you have so much material in class 10. Actually, it's an overload of this thing. But yes, case-based questions के भी हैं, online है. CBSE ने भी release किए हुए हैं properly on the CBSE site. If you go, you will find 10 standard case-based questions. They were compiled 2 years back, but they're still applicable. Very good collection is there. So first, you know what my aim is. बच्चे क्या करते हैं? हमेशा ऐसी चीजों के पीछे भागते हैं. Like numericals, बहुत सारे numericals जमा करो, बहुत सारे question papers जमा करके रखो. But if your concepts are not clear ना बेटा, तो बहुत मुश्किल होती है. And then you feel dejected. So I would suggest all this comes when your exam is near, maybe 1 week before that, or final exam October December के बाद, मतलब जब आपका syllabus cover हो जाए. So right now, first thing is you have to make your own notes, write down the formulae, see that you are conceptually clear. Like the example I just gave you, the competency based question of the fish. ऐसे questions attempt करके देखो. अगर आपको ऐसे questions में मुश्किल आती है, इसका मतलब है conceptual clarity नहीं है अभी तक, है ना? So you have to be able to do that first and then go to type of questions. Once you are conceptually clear, beta, you have won half the war. Don't worry about it at all. It is not as frightening as it looks. Don't worry. You will develop, and your teachers in every school are there to see to it that they train you for this only. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am, one question is there about
Sure.
paper presentation.
Oh yes, yes. Actually, मेरे पास था उस video में PPT में, but I skipped that because I think paper presentation अभी बात करने से कोई actual मतलब नहीं है. That's the way I look at it. Because क्या होता है ना? I'll tell you. First is when you're doing your work, you have to be organized. है ना? लिखावट आपकी रफ बुक में हो, किसी कैलेंडर के पेज पे हो, किसी डायरी में हो, your handwriting has to be legible. It has to be good. That is one practice you have to keep thoroughly throughout the year. Secondly, do not change your pens. I would suggest ये एक महीना लो मेका, you decide on which brand of pen you're going to use. You know, there are many new ones that are coming in now. Flair है, ये है, वो है. So whatever you decide, उस एक ही ब्रांड का पेन पूरे साल यूज करना है. आपकी हैंडराइटिंग बहुत स्मूथ और अच्छी हो जाती है. You have a good flow. You have a good grip on the pen. Okay, that's another tip. Third is please use HB and 2B pencils. There are many children who use those TikTok wale pencils. They are not good for class 10 biology diagrams, at least I would say, right? So please see to it that HB or 2B sharpened pencils. आप एक बार आदत डाल लो कि पहले एक faint outline में diagram करोगे, and once you get the proper shape, then you fair it out, make it dark. You label it properly. Without using a scale, you should be able to draw a straight line. You know, मैंने बहुत सारे बच्चों को देखा आजकल even labeling के लिए छोटी-छोटी they'll use the scale. It uses a lot of time. Exam में नहीं मिलता इतना वक्त हमें. We have to focus on the content, right? So a nice straight freehand line you should be able to draw. One pointer has to come out good. Then all the labels are in one line, left hand side, right hand side. So ये छोटे-छोटे basics, the entire paper presentation thing will work out only when you do a 80 mark paper. उसके पहले ये छोटी छोटी चीजें कि डायग्राम बॉक्स में होना चाहिए. एवरी फिजिक्स न्यूमेरिकल शुड हैव अ बॉक्स्ड आंसर एट द एंड, you know, and there has to be units behind it. Given should be written, to find has to be written, solution has to be written. Every step counts. Believe me, even today we follow the same method that we did so many years back. I'm so sorry about the disturbance. Please see to it that you are understanding that whatever your teacher tells you is for your own good. Follow that, and that will be good help to you. Right? Thank you. Yes, there, ma'am. I hope I answered that.
Yes, ma'am. Anything else? Anyone wants to ask the question? I think a lot of questions we covered here.
I have a small doubt. Ma'am, are the like paper patterns same for every state? Like I'm in Jaipur, not in Maharashtra, so like that's why.
Yes, beta, yes. CBSE pattern applies to all over. CBSE is Central Board of Secondary Education, right?
Okay.
So every state it will be the same. Don't worry. 10th and 12th paper patterns don't change. Internally, for your internal examinations, teachers could change it a little bit because there are less chapters. Otherwise, overall, there will be 5 sections, the way I said, and they'll be the same.
Because in our school, some different pattern was told to us. That's why I was confirming.
Okay. No, CBSE, if you're giving a CBSE examination, I can guarantee you the paper pattern is the same. Don't worry.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Anyone want to ask the question? Great, say you joined from Jaipur, from out of Maharashtra.
actually.
Great. This is the
Very nice.
who means उसको कितना चाहिए वो उसका ईगल
Just
दिखता
hai,
है
bilkul,
उसमें से.
bilkul, yes. And information today is a real weapon in your hands. If you're well informed,
Yeah,
half war is
yeah.
won. Yeah, and I'm again telling you, all the kids, please, take it lightly. Don't be too serious about it right from now. What I'm telling you is, what you learn for good. ये मत सोचो कि हम एग्जाम के पहले एक हफ्ते करेंगे. अभी जो अप्रैल में कवर हुआ है सिलेबस इन स्कूल्स, प्लीज सी टू इट दैट यू आर गेटिंग इट डन सो thoroughly कि आपको वापस उसकी तरफ देखने की जरूरत नहीं पड़े. इतना अगर आप करते जाओगे in regular basis with your parents' intervention, please see to it that you ask one of your parents to be a part of your regular study. However big you become, you can never do away with, people giving you guidance, people telling you your cutouts, ये किया, ये नहीं किया, follow up करना चाहिए, उसके बगैर नहीं होता है in class 10. So please share everything with one of your parent at least. And Daya ma'am is always there to help you. So use her guidance.
This is the Superman test series is the big tool for the parent also to
Sure.
give the quality time to the student.
Yes.
So that
For
is-
working parents, yes, who cannot give
yeah.
too much time.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
So on this note, can we stop here? Thank you very much, student, parent,
you.
and thank you, Amita ma'am, for a grateful guidance today in science. So thank you very much.